981 on Twitter, Smooth 981 FM, and
And
we're streaming live.
on the YouTube app, it's Smooth 981. But if you want to go direct with a website, then all you need to do is go to youtube.com/Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Hi, Irabor. How are you? Popping you on. Hey, he's on the crew today.
Morning, Sope. How's everything?
Morning, Irabor. Fantastic. Great to
Yeah, I'm
have
great.
you.
What about you, Victor?
I'm all right. Good to have you on the show. Ooh, so
Yeah.
Why are you like this? Okay, so people.
I can hear you guys louder.
No, Rabbi, it wasn't you. It was Pepple. Just a little aside. As he uses YouTube as a mirror today, isn't that great? All right, so today we're doing things a little bit different. We're just gonna go straight into the stories. New music. We'll discuss that on Thursday. All right, so the very first story of the day is about Wizkid, who did not drop his single as he promised us on Friday, but still made history after becoming the very first African to headline the Rolling Loud Festival, which touched down in, where was it? Ontario? Yeah, in Toronto. Yeah, it was in Toronto. Over the weekend. So, what did we think about this?
See, like I said, when you remember when we were talking about terms, leveraging of Wizkid and how, Wizkid's influence has just helped a lot of artists, so for him to be able to do that, he still needs to keep pushing the needle. So Wizkid is on that level of Michael Jordan now where, you've done basically everything. All you have to do is just keep winning more rings. So Wizkid just needs to keep headlining more international events and selling out, shows, and just keep building on that brand, becoming a global icon, becoming a global superstar, getting more endorsements and everything. I mean, that's what we expect from him. And the guy has just been a beacon, in the music industry. And I just really, really thank God for all the talent and all the structure that he's putting in our music industry, because we really, really need it. I'm just hoping that that transcends into the movie industry.
Now,
Say that again?
I said I pray it transcends into the movie industry and other industries.
So this, Rolling Loud is one of the biggest hip hop, if not the biggest hip hop event in the world, right? It's usually hosted in the United States, in Europe, Australia, and Canada. Over 200,000 people, between 75,000 to 200,000 people come together, because usually at this event, it's one of the biggest rap-only type of concerts or events, if you like it or not. But Wizkid, which is not a hip hop head, if you ask
so
me.
If you look at the lineup, right, it was Dave, then Future, then Wizkid.
Right. So it's usually a rap only type of concert, but Wizkid is not a rapper.
Sounds like Wizkid at a hip hop festival,
and he's the first African to do this.
That's why I use the word. That's why I use the word iconic. The guy he's the epitome of people wanting to. It's like a bee and honey. People just want to come there. People just want to come to Wizkid. People just love that sound. People love to be associated with greatness, whether you're from Africa or you're from South America or wherever. Once they see you are popping, they will even start breaking rules and breaking barriers for you to be in certain spaces that you're not supposed to be. Look at that hit, Essence. Look at what Kanye West said about it. Justin Bieber jumped on it and they won a BET. The guy is fire right now. He has been fire since the time he dropped his first album. And people like Banky W saw how it was going to ascend. So, I see Wizkid going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I see Wizkid, inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. I see Wizkid doing things beyond just Afrobeats or beyond R&B or, like now he's headlining or being part of, a hip hop festival. And come on now. So that's grace on someone's head.
Well, at least it was grace on the festival, because Toronto has not been having a great time over the summer with festivals. Like, they've been cancelled left, right, and center. Acts were dropped, venues were changed.
Maybe that's why they even needed Wizkid too.
Even when they were like, "We're not doing it yet. It's done. It's not happening, guys. Move on." But yeah, this one, it came out and there were lots of highs, and Wizkid was definitely one of them. So fantastic stuff. All right, we'll move on now to Bobby, who is doing some, Once again, I go back to good work. I love news like this.
Yeah.
So he's renovated some of the class and staff rooms of the University Staff School in Benin City. I love when news happens like this.
Yeah, the thing is, I know Bowie to a certain extent, personally, not too seriously. But the thing is, this is somebody, from my understanding, that recognizes his journey, recognizes all the ills that are around him. This is somebody who has even been part of my own initiatives, consecutively. Whether he's present or not present, you still feel his vibe. Bovi is that kind of guy, and I'm not saying it because he has been part of my own initiatives. I'm saying it because I have seen it. I've seen him in action. He's not that person that everybody meets him, he helps everybody. But my point is, where he knows he can help and where he needs the help, he will definitely help. So this is great news, seeing Bovi, renovating classrooms, in Edo State. This was commissioned by the Deputy Governor, Philip Shoaibu, as well. So, I mean, it's beautiful things to see. Imagine if every celebrity, and I'm not putting pressure on anybody, I'm just saying, if you're well-to-do after you're taking care of your family and your extended family, and you still have enough to spare, it'd be nice if you can collaborate with people, because really the government can't do everything, although they're doing nothing per se, but it will also help if, influencers and people who are in positions, of power and positions of influence and have money, to actually put that money to good use, so that it's great to see such stories. You have to publicize such stories. Some people will think, oh, why would anybody who is doing charity publicize it? I mean, from experience, if you don't publicize it, you can't even get, more revenue or more funds to be able to even do more. So if you're doing it well, God will bless you to even do more. So shout out to Bobby and every other person, whether celebrity or not, doing great things.
Yeah, and shout out to the people who are just doing it, and it's not making the change, just doing it.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to talk about the Deputy Governor of Edo State who commissioned that project yesterday. He was using the same avenue to call on other comedians to come renovate schools as well in the state. Some of them who schooled in Benin City or in Edo State should do like Bovi, be like Bovi. Come renovate schools, do good things here because you studied here in the States. And I'm like, okay, then what will be left for the government to do? Right? What's your responsibility? Yes, it's a good thing that you're charging others to come and do something really noble for society. But then government, in fact, Philip, the deputy governor, also renovated a school in Edo State if you did school there.
Yeah, I understand your point. But the thing is, whenever you have an opportunity to make a general call to people who have schooled or done something in the States, I mean, that's an opportunity, you can take. I'm not saying this because I'm from Edo State. Yes, the government is responsible for the bulk, the majority of, the state's well-being. But really, those guys, from what we can see, whether Edo State or any other state, over time, you've seen that those in power don't even know what they're supposed to do. Imagine you winning an election and 6 months, 4 months down the line, you don't even have a cabinet. That's a clueless person. See what's happening in the UK, and they just assumed position and everything falls into play. So these type of people who are calling out celebrities and calling out people, it may be a case of they don't know what to do or how to go about it. They're just in power. They would rather maybe people come together and help, and they now come and commission. It's free PR for them. So, but the government and individuals that are in power and of influence, they too need to step up regardless. Because let me not even lie, the amount of development that is required in states such as Edo State compared to Lagos State, or even Lagos State on its own compared to states abroad, the gap is wide. I mean, you're going to countries like UK or Paris, or states and boroughs and constituencies and all that in these respective countries, France and United Kingdom, transportation is not an issue. There are certain structures that are in place that just helps everybody. So we don't have all these things. We're still trying to build the train station, train track, or whatever that is at CMS. Marina is being blocked because of the bridge that was on fire, and the buses there are now turning the place to Idumota. Like, we are in mayhem, basically, in this place. So if we can actually call people from the grassroots, from the middle places, and also influencers to, come and do things wherever they've, set their roots, that's still also a good thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at this next one. We're going into the world of the movies and the series, or the franchises rather. So Indiana Jones is back, and he and Short Round are back together. So the world's most famous archaeologist is going to be back for his next installment. This is going to be the fifth Indiana Jones film. I think. Yeah, the fifth one. Anyway, so Kathleen Kennedy, who's the president of Lucasfilm, debuted the first teaser footage for the still untitled film during the studio's presentation at Disney's D23 Expo on Saturday. But alas, the public doesn't know anything about it because we were not there. But Irabor, are you looking forward to a fifth installment?
I'm looking forward to movies, regardless, whether it's resurrected franchises, I'm really not bothered, whether it's 007, whether it's, Indiana Jones, whether it's National Treasure, whatever the case. I don't want to see any Fast movie. I don't want to see any Transformers movie, though. They should all keep that, to the side. But, seeing Harrison Ford, it just goes to show that age and time waits for nobody. You see him, you see Jackie Chan, you see all these guys, and you're just wondering, wow, these were heroes that we used to love watching back in the day, and now they're old, and they're still even trying to come back, through their franchises. And it's a nice blessing to see these guys, one last time or two last times, depending on how many productions they're looking to do. Yes, it's refreshing, but at the end of the day now, if you're going to speak technically and all, what can Harrison Ford do, given his age and all that? What kind of plot are we going to look forward to? What other cast members are going to be associated with this picture?
Hold on. Irabor asks, they said, even though we haven't seen the footage, people who did and decided to let loose a little information said that there were a number of great action scenes, and one of the part of the footage showed him riding a horse through the city of New York and onto the subway tracks, amongst other things. So, at least at that age, you can ride a horse.
Yeah, well, I don't want to see an old man doing action stunts, basically.
Wow.
I'm already, I'm already, I'm already looking at Tom Cruise a little bit, like, oh, dude has barely five more years to be able to do all those things that he can do. Because he's in the 60s, if I recall.
Will not agree.
Will not agree with him. Well, let's see.
I don't think his muscles will agree.
You see what Hollywood is doing really with all these franchises. They've run out of stories or originality, which is why.
This is my thing, Irabor, because when I look at these, like, we've already mentioned Transformers, Fast and Furious. And when I see some stuff like Indiana Jones or Independence Day or Men in Black, I'm just like, there are more stories to tell. But do you think it's about they've run out of stories to tell? Because I don't think they've run out of stories to tell. I think they've run out of courage. They're now scared of losing money, so they're going with what they think will make them money, even if it's dwindling returns.
I understand. But they are missing it a little bit. They're missing it a little bit. I think they need to create new franchises. That's what I feel they need to do. They need to invest more money into creating new things, because the old ones should just remain classics, should just be acquired by streaming services or what have you. They need to create more content, which is why Disney, Sony are investing in African stories like The Woman King, coming out this Friday.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful film, by the way.
And we've been waiting for
Shade. If you have the chance to see it, make sure you go and check it out. So,
I said we've been waiting for Shade to come out.
Shade, Shade.
Our new Disney princess.
And you also, new Disney, fine. And they're also going into stories like Giannis Antetokounmpo with the movie Rise. That was released in June. So they're exploring other features, other ways to tell stories, because the ones that they've had, they don't have original movies like Stranger Than Fiction, all those type of films, that would just be like, wow, this is a great film. They don't have all those films anymore. So far, so good for my own opinion, basically.
But I feel, we've got to go on a break now, but something to chew on, and maybe we'll talk about it on YouTube off air, is I feel like all the good storytelling now isn't even in the movies, it's in the series, it's on television nowadays. We're going to take our break, and if you want to discuss movies and TV series, all you need to do is go over to youtube.com/Smooth981FM. We'll be back with more right here inside the Grapevine on Smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Can you hear me?
Alpha. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So I just feel like most of the great adaptations, I think that a lot of storytellers are now just appreciating long form, the long form approach and taking it to the series. I don't know about the movies anymore. Which movie have you seen, apart from Everything Everywhere All at Once, that you thought this is the best thing since sliced bread?
Nah, this year from Hollywood, I haven't really been wowed. No.
Like I can't think of anything.
No, I haven't been. Like whenever I'm discussing with people, I always have them recommend movies to me because I just want to keep trying to see what I can watch. That would just put me in this state of.
Got Emmy's host.
Oh, sorry.
Kenan Thompson joining us right now. Now, Kenan, you're no stranger to the.
Sorry, Jerry, something came up.
Oh, hold on. So Chibuke is saying they have run out of stories to tell. But I don't know, man. America is made up of, if we're talking Hollywood alone, America is made up of a lot more cultures than just, I don't know, American.
And racism and all those things won't allow them want to explore all these things because they always want to guard their own, and keep pushing their own.
All right, we're coming back on. We're on now. Studio. All right, and we are back here with more Inside the Grapevine. We've been talking about films and series up on YouTube, and we've already got a message in up on WhatsApp 0809 440 981. Triple K says, Shoka, they have run out of stories to tell because there's nothing new in their environment. All the new stories and themes are in Africa. Only those who have the courage, like you said, have tapped into and will tap into this. Like one thing I'm loving is we even spoke about it during Business Express, and that was Iwaju, because Disney's trying to do well. I like that. So Disney's who are they partnering with? They're partnering with a Nigerian.
Ebony Life.
No, it's not Ebony Life. It's someone else, starting with a K. I'll look it up. Disney Iwaju. Anyway, so they're going to be telling for an animated series called Iwaju. If you guys know, let me know on WhatsApp so that I don't sound so distracted as I look and talk at the same time. But it's going to be like a futuristic take on what happens in Lagos, a futuristic story set in future Lagos. So it'll be very interesting. So it's going to be coming to Disney Plus sometime in 2023. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, because that's just next year. Okay. So anyway, we move on. And we cannot talk entertainment and we can't talk about the stuff in the grapevine without touching on the biggest news that is still having impact and ramifications, which is the Queen's death, Queen Elizabeth II. So it's even impacted the Emmys because the Emmys, there's now being a muted build-up to the event. So some pre-show festivities were called off following the death of the Queen of England last week. And the British Film and Television Academy also canceled its traditional Hollywood tea party for nominees, while the Canadian consulate postponed its celebrations. Like everywhere around the world, people have been tapping into the mood and just things have been low-key. So, Irabor, you haven't had a chance to discuss this.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think it's just eye service, in my own opinion. Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's eye service. Yeah, I believe it's eye service, in my own opinion. The British Film Institute can choose to do that, in my own opinion. But I don't think every other, country or institution should now start, calling off or postponing certain things that are supposed to just run normally. She's dead. She lived to 96. She's the queen. Okay, no problem. If we're actually going to dissect this thing properly, in fact, let me not just go into that one. I don't want to be censored in any way. My point is, I feel it's eye service. Everybody should go about their business. The royal family can milk all this for as long as they want to, with all the ceremonies and all that, no problem. But I don't think every other thing should stop because the queen, a monarch / indirect person with the word letter D, if we're being real, is now dead. Every other thing should continue, in my own opinion, really. Please. I'm not for that.
It's a mark of respect, whether you like it or not. Even in sports, they had to cancel for 2 weeks. Premier
what are they respecting? Matches. What are they respecting?
The life and times of the great Queen of England. 70 years on the throne is not something to, just...
Somebody who should have retired. Somebody who should have retired at least 20, 30 years. And given the crown to...
Exactly. You don't retire from the as a monarch, yes.
You can actually hand over your crown.
You can abdicate, yes. Yes, you can abdicate.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by
retire. You don't need to abdicate.
My point is, you don't need to rule till you're 96.
Not if you don't want your son to rule.
But they will come for African leaders who want to actually stay in office for 16 years.
No, that's democracy.
Thing, because that one is supposed to be democracy. Monarchy is not democracy.
That's not the same. Everything is packaging. That's not the same. I beg to differ.
No. I beg to differ. What you're trying to compare now is apples and oranges, Irabor.
Let's throw this out there to everybody and hear what they think. If everybody
okay, really guys, we're throwing it out to you. Is it apples and oranges, or is it, as Irabor is trying to do, apples and apples, maybe green and pink? Because
the monarchy is packaging for dictatorship. It's packaging. It's packaging. This is somebody who colonized countries.
The Queen herself colonized countries?
This is somebody who is the head of a monarchy that colonized countries.
Now constitutional.
Throw it out there, let everybody air their opinions. It's packaging for dictatorship. I'm not for it.
Because he says, what is Irabor going on about right now? I am in shock. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, I'm just trying to make sense of what he's saying. But I'm to an extent, I don't want to say I agree, but I kind of understand what he's saying.
Go ahead.
Now, when he talks about
that's the thing, nobody wants to see. I am a British citizen. I have to put it out there for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. So I am not for it. It's packaging. Do you understand? Now, packaging for dictatorship. Look at it. You have a country. You are giving them another government. You are now the monarch in that place, but government can't be
on your own on this one.
I'm telling you,
you seem to be standing on your own on this one.
Everybody's like, huh?
I'm sorry. If I'm on my own on this one, I'm not bothered.
Now, Sonia is saying, what is Irabor even saying and rolling her eyes?
Ngozi has come back and said, but we have monarchs in Nigeria.
Exactly, and the monarchs also hand over to their children when they die at 90 in Nigeria.
The monarchs, sorry, I'm coming. The monarchs in Nigeria, do they control Nigeria, the country, or a particular section of the country?
Now, but before amalgamation,
please, can you answer that question?
No, history-wise, if we go back in history, like you said, you're from Edo State, so read again the history of the Benin Kingdom. It was controlled by the Oba and all the other kingdoms that were there. In fact, just like the UK, you needed to fight to conquer territories. But let's not go back and forth.
Anyway, don't worry.
The more messages are coming in.
I'm trying to... Francis, I'm trying to understand this. I think it says postponed. Okay. Irabor is okay. Is the show postponed for a while in respect for the Queen and monarchy isn't democracy?
All right. And then any always saying, turn off Irabor's mic, I beg.
No.
El Como is saying, who is this Irabor guy? The messages are coming. Finally,
you got one in your corner. Daisy says, "I'm with Irabor."
But one against what, 7?
It's all right.
I'm not. Look. Let me say something.
Yeah.
When you are talking about certain issues, you either get shut down or whatever. Something happens to you. If you're actually saying something that is true, you guys think about it. Okay, let's use it, my truth. Anybody who really wants to honestly talk about this thing, if you really want to dissect and disintegrate every element, look at the monarchy, the way it operates and how the country is run. Liken it to when African leaders choose to still be in power or control things and not want to leave. What's the difference? Is the Queen in control of England, regardless of whether they have a prime minister or not?
No.
I'm asking the question.
So
why does the prime minister have to go and meet the Queen when she gets elected? Why?
So, Irabor, what I'm going to say to you is, whilst I don't necessarily agree with the idea of a monarchy, because I believe actually it's just an outdated institution. No. That's completely different from what you're saying. You're trying to pull it off as a dictatorship. It's not.
Okay,
let's agree that it is something that needs to exist in 2022, but I do not believe it is a dictatorship. The Queen does not have power or control over what the affairs of government in the United Kingdom. What they're doing is for form. and formalities.
I really need to. That is the packaging of it. See, white people. One thing I give them.
Irabor, don't go too far. Let me bring a message in from El Como, who says, "I dare Irabor to say this about the Oba of Benin. He will be roasted." Take this to Twitter, Irabor.
Well, listen to you.
Sorry, the Oba of Benin, Abi. Is it the Oba of Nigeria? Is it the Oba of Nigeria? I'm talking about a country.
That's why I said I get your points. I get your point.
I'm talking about a country.
What an entire
country.
What a very arbitrary point. George says, I can't believe how we're spending time talking about the Queen of England. Until all progressive nations move to being republics, that's when Africans will realize that this colonial contraption of a commonwealth, not common, is just there to perpetuate the Windsors. Ridiculous, says George.
Thank you, George.
Can we talk about the winners for the Emmys?
Yes, so we can wrap up the show. Right? Let's move on from the Queen so she can rest in peace. That's how they say it.
Can we talk about the fact that Lee Jung-jae became the first Asian star to win the Emmy Award for the Best Male Actor in a Drama? Should we talk about that?
Yes.
Seeing as we went on this very, very
boundaries have been
road.
Boundaries have been broken in the movie industry, internationally, locally. You see people like Wizkid, headlining the hip hop festival. Then you see people from other continents, Asia, Africa or African Americans winning certain awards that haven't been won by people of that particular race. So, I'm all for that. Always be prepared so that if they're looking for the doctor who is from Calabar, that is female, that is blah blah blah, just be prepared so that when it's your time, you just quickly key in. So shout out to everybody who is of a different race that is not white, that is trying to push the envelope, that is trying to succeed. Keep working, Excelsior waits for you, basically.
Excelsior, I love that. All right, I think we're going to end the show on this message from Larry from the abroad, saying, Irabor has fallen my hand again today. Dictatorship, how? British monarchy does not control the government. Head of state, ceremonial, in brackets, is not head of government, prime minister, in brackets. She made that famous statement to dedicate her whole life, whether short or long, to serving. That's why she couldn't retire. And we'll talk about more messages.
Larry, packaging.
More messages are coming.
It's packaging.
It's akin to an organization. The Queen is the chairman. The prime minister is the MD. The chairman may not have operational functions, but ultimately they have the final say.
Give her the Let's see how that
Sorry, Jehovah has the final say in my life. You understand? I look up to him every time. Do you understand? I can be doing jagala up and down. You don't believe in Irabor. When you are done, I've made my decision. Do you understand? So all again, packaging.
Irabor, it seems everyone is coming after your beards this morning. In your voice, say Irabor,
Irabor 100.
Irabor, you really did yarn off this morning, saying that Hollywood is out of ideas. Indiana Jones is nostalgic, and bam, in capitals,
all the capital letters you want,
with exclamation marks have joined.
Yes, it's a difference between
Hollywood.
And
they are out of ideas, and they are suppressing the ones that have ideas to not come to the fore. I will say it. See, truth is very difficult to accept.
Wow, this conversation is getting wider.
Out of ideas.
So, but that's the thing. And for me, I will follow you down a path but semantics is there for a reason. I don't believe they're out of ideas. There's so many ideas there. I believe they're out of the courage to tell new stories.
But you see the second thing I said that
because the same thing that they will do with Black. No, because you already said they're out of ideas and they're suppressing the ones with new ideas, which means there are new ideas. But so that's what I'm saying. It's semantics for me. They're not out of ideas. What I believe is that they are out of a thing called allowing all races to exist within something.
So but the people also that call the shots are out of ideas. Those ones that call the shots that normally used to bring all those films that we love, they are out of ideas. But in the broader ecosystem, those people who they are suppressing have the ideas. That's what I'm trying to say. Tyler Perry is an American, but Harvey Weinstein is also an American. But he is the one that is making things happen. So until he got disgraced. So, anyway.
We can't take any more messages.
Oh
they
my
keep
goodness!
On coming
I wish
in.
I could. There are a lot of messages that have come in.
Temi Tokpa, thank you. It was Kugali. Disney partnered with Kugali on Iwaju. Yes.
So,
Ebony Life partnered with Sony. Yeah, for the Dahomey Words. That's what I was trying to remember. Ebony Life and Sony. Yeah.
I hate I'm the one who
shout out
to
to
this last one. Let the royal family go and sit down somewhere, Joe. Their history is filled with a lot of words I cannot read on the radio.
Because I don't want to talk. Why is everyone making a fuss?
That's why I said I don't want to talk. That's why I said I don't want to talk. If I go deep into this thing, they will come and find me.
If an elephant steps on you and breaks all your bones, you shall know that the elephant was there, right? Trying to say that the reason everyone is making a fuss of it is because that elephant was stepping everywhere. And so everybody felt the effect of the elephant. We've got to move on. Make sure you go find Irabor 100 on all the social media platforms and on the Movie Roadshow. Oh, Irabor, you make life very interesting. I love it. Yes. And of course, I'm at Shokpe Martins.
And I'm at Victor Pepple. Let's do this again on Thursday at 8:15. Irabor,
you will kill me. Oh my God.
Victor, free all this thing where they talk. Now packaging. Leave all this away.
So you can go on like this. We're waiting for them to approve.
Jesus,
so
we ran 3 minutes over. Oh well. Because of the Queen of England.
Exactly. But it got a lot of people out of their holes talking about it.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay.
A lot of people, usually when we talk about certain things, they're like, talk, we're enjoying the
conversation. But everybody has an opinion on the Queen of England. So for good or for bad, if she affected our lives.
Of course. She's a headliner. I give it to her. I mean, come on. Beautiful woman, commanding everything. Yes, I give it to her. I mean, don't stop premiership or stop every other thing because you have to what?
No, I was like, praise God, we end the show here. Once you said I give it to her.
All right. No, Anna.
Yeah.
Later. Take care.
See you later.
Victor.